If you suck, shoot more, because at least one of them will come out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine that? Like,
Welcome to Offstage with Jordan Baylor, where you'll discover the stories behind the movers and shakers in the entertainment and business world. Now here's your host, Jordan Baylor.
Welcome to Offstage with Jordan Baylor. This is the first episode of the new decade. We're here, 2020 people. They told us we weren't going to make it, but we made it. We're here, and today I have a guest for you. His name is Vinh Luong, a photographer / entrepreneur based out of Houston, Texas. He's the owner and CEO of a new and burgeoning digital marketing agency in the real estate niche. They're titled Real Estate Movie Trailers, or REMT for short. Vinh is a visionary. If you sit around him long enough, he'll sell you a vision you can't help but vividly see. It's almost like IMAX. You want to act on it and you want to become a part of it. So it's no wonder there's always models, real estate agents, or yogis that want to be a part of his projects. And what I admire most about Vinh is, simply put, his mindset. It's infectious, and when he goes places, it's boisterous and it can't be contained. He almost bounces off the wall. We dug deep in the interview talking about gratitude, launching a business in 2020, and he even gave me the ultimate key to changing your life. I recorded the interview Tuesday and started putting his tactics into place Wednesday, simply put, just for 24 hours. And I'm already seeing major shifts opening up for me. I don't want to sound like those YouTube ads, but the stuff works, man. So I present to you a man who personifies self-reinvention. Vinh Luong. So tell the people, who is Vinh?
who is Vinh?
Yeah, who is Vinh?
Google me, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Who am I, man? That's such a loaded question.
Yeah.
I'm just a dude trying to make his way. You know what I mean? Like, trying to do the best I can to be the best person I can be, and trying to connect with as many people as possible.
Trying to help as many people as possible. So what I like about you is you always come from a place of help. And I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but you always...
Yeah, I need a lot of it.
Yeah. It's very sincere, though, with you, you know? So, like, when you shoot photography or you do videography, you're always, like, helping people. So even when you're... I don't know if you still do it anymore, but, like, on your Instagram videos where you were, like, doing tutorials and you were, like, helping people, you were kind of... Was that more for the real estate thing?
Wait, was that me?
Yeah, that was you. Remember you were doing the videos like in the corner? And you were
right. Yeah. I mean, those are for the company, and that was specifically like marketing content that actually helps the industry or the demographic to understand, you know, what we do, and like new ways for them to kind of wrap their mind around new types of marketing.
Okay.
You know,
cool. So you got your start. Tell me about like your childhood. How did you get into photography?
That's an easy one. My dad is a photographer still to this day. Mm-hmm. And back in New York, my mom owned a wedding business, mm-hmm. and my dad was a photographer. My mom would do the makeup, and she would sell dresses and limousine services and et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And by the age of like 11 or 12, I would have to go on these wedding shoots with my dad to like assist him, you know, just literally be like a squire, like, you know, go get dad, you know, the flash, go get this and that. And my dad would slowly start to teach me like what ISO is and what the settings are and all this stuff. And it got to the point where by the time I was like 12, my mom made me go and handle my own wedding shoots that she would book, and I would like be and this is back in like the film days, like not even like digital where like if you fuck up, like you could delete and start over type shit. Yeah. This is like, we used to bring back rolls of Fuji film, like bags of them, like shoot, like if I didn't shoot like 12 rolls or 30 rolls or some shit like that, like I was in trouble. You know what I mean? And dude, especially like back in those days, it's like, yo, if you suck, shoot more because at least one of them will come out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I got my photography start from.
Were you always interested in photography?
It always kind of came as a knack to me as far as like at family gatherings or whatever. Like, you know, I would just volunteer to like take the family picture with like a point and shoot or something like that. And then I guess my parents saw that I had kind of a knack for it.
They were like, we're going to work here.
Yeah, we're like, you know, classic Asian parents, right? Like, but I'm grateful for it because it like definitely started teaching me a trade even when I didn't even know about it. And yeah, it was like I got my first camera when I was in 4th grade. I remember like it being a pretty big deal because like 4th grade, were you like 10 years old?
Yeah. Like
my dad bought me my first manual SLR camera, like with the lens and everything, and like the one that you have to, like the ones that like high school or college students would, like, get in photography class or club or whatever. I had when I was like 10 years old, but at first I didn't really like have money to put film in it. so what I would do was like I would just carry it around and just pretend I was like a spy. Like I would just spy on people like at my mom's job or whatever. Like I'm the only child, so like I'm also like running around and like eavesdropping on people, and I would just like use it as like a spy like in the movies. Yeah. And just like it was a zoom lens. I'd like zoom in and like listen to their conversation while watching it. Yeah, I was a weird kid.
You're a voyeur. You're a voyeur. Yeah.
Can you imagine that? It's like, and I had one of those like funny bowl cuts too. So it was like this little bowl cut Asian kid like running around.
Honey, who's that bowl cut Asian?
Yeah, I actually still have that camera till this day.
Wow,
I've never sold it.
It's your first camera. You can't. It's like
it was. Yeah, I remember it was the Olympus 2000. I think the Olympus 2000 OM 2000. Yeah.
So when did you make the decision and be like, you know what, I have these skills, I have this talent that my parents made me hone my cut your teeth at, basically. Like when did you say, you know what, I'm gonna make this my career?
It wasn't until later on in high school, like around 16 years old when I was like a junior, because from between the ages of 12 when I did the professional weddings and stuff like that till 16. So that's what, like, my math is horrible, right? 4 years? I'm not that kind of Asian. Okay, so 4 years, right? Like, I fucking hated photography. Like, because it was a chore to me.
Oh, it was a job.
Yeah, it was a wedding. It was like my mom, it was like doing the family business, and I fucking hated it.
Did your parents know that you didn't like doing it?
Well, I was just being a brat. Like, I mean, most kids, when you put them to work in general, it wasn't that I didn't like photography. It was that it was work.
Yeah.
Right? It was
your Saturdays were like at weddings.
Exactly. My Saturdays were at weddings, and literally I would say the worst part that I can remember, but was the most crucial part, was that because it was film, right? Excuse me. Because it was film, once you develop them, right, and you get the prints back, we would have to organize them with like roll A, roll B, roll C, and just like write them on the back of the picture. Because if the customer wanted to like enlarge them or whatever, or like, hey, this is the one we want in our album, it had a number on the back of the print, and we would be like, okay, it's roll A, number 36, right? So we would spend the night. I would spend the night, and my mom would sit there and critique every single freaking photo that I had, and like she would be like, "Why you cut this person's head off? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Like you need to like set. It's so dark. You need to set your lighting up." And like it was literally a critique session.
So it's photography school.
Yeah, basically. And I remember like during that time, I just like fucking hated it because it would like be late, right? And I was like fucking 12, 13 years old, right? And it would be late. And I would just like be there like writing A, B, C through rolls, like 12, to 20 rolls of film, and just being critiqued on each of them. And it kind of wiped the fun out of it for me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until, to answer your question, it wasn't until when I was like 16 years old, because I still had a knack for like just shooting or like, you know, I was trigger happy, right? And it was so strange to me when I had the epiphany that there was photography outside of weddings. Like, it blew my fucking mind. Like, really, like, it blew my mind. Like, one day I was just like, I like photography and it's cool and it gives me a platform, but like, I fucking hate weddings, man. I just hate this family business and I don't want to be a part of this. And then one day I was walking through Times Square and it just like, the dumbest thing, it just hit me. And I was staring at a Sean John poster of P. Diddy putting his arm up or whatever.
Oh, that
in like a velour,
one.
in a velour suit, and it was like this long vertical billboard.
Yeah.
And I remember walking with like my family, and I looked up, and I was like, somebody shot that photo. Why can't that be me? Right? And that became like my mission to start shooting more magazine, like more editorial, like to be like this badass fashion commercial photographer. And that's been my journey, you know, for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you, as an adult, and you were talking about like how your mom was basically grinding you and being like, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do this? Have you ever brought that up to your mom and been like, Mom, why were you so hard on me? Or did you thank her?
My mom was the one that was like about discipline, hustle, hard work, and my dad was more of like the fun, always knew the cool places to eat, always, you know, was a good dancer, you know what I mean? He was the fun party guy, right? And showed me like how to enjoy life. And so I feel like with both my parents, like I kind of had that balance. I mean, today I thank her. Back then I hated it. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Like I hated it. Like, in the sense where I just wanted to make my own way. And sometimes it's overbearing because it's like, my mom's kind of a control freak also. And me being like the only kid that she's ever had, like she's also afraid of every decision that she makes for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
you've basically like taken your trade and that's how you feed yourself, like off of a camera, like to this day, correct? Like between, you know, your...
Yeah, like I literally eat on my camera.
Literally eat on top of the camera.
Yeah, that's why the bigger the camera... No.
But no, I mean, it seems like you're equipped. You know, it seems like they equipped you, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely giving me an edge.
Yeah, for an edge, you know, because you do videography, regular photography, on and REMT. Tell me more about REMT, because I want to talk about that.
REMT, so real estate movie trailers. Where
did that idea come from? Like, where did that bolt hit you?
Man, so I'm originally from New York. And my goal was to like be a fashion portrait photographer, like shooting, you know, covers of GQ and Vogue and stuff like that. And you know, I assisted under photographers and worked in that industry. You know what I mean? I used to have to drop off like photos and deliveries at like Vogue's headquarters and stuff like that, right? And so that was the path that I wanted. So I had this aesthetic. And some things in my life happened where I moved to Houston, you know, 6 years ago. And I was like, okay, so I just put my faith in God and just was like, okay, I'm going to take this step and see what unfolds here. And after being here, trying to bring that fashion editorial, you know, like that like mainstream, like commercial quality, like aesthetic to Houston, which didn't exist here.
No.
It was awesome, but at the same time, it was at a time where people didn't spend money on it. And even to this day, it's starting to get more popular, but people just, the thought process behind it here, and like, there's just no money for it here, really. You know what I mean? Like, you go to places like LA, New York, and like overseas, like to like Paris or something like that, to do like that level of work. Here, a lot of it, you know, it's an industrial like city, you know, oil, gas, you know, real estate, stuff like that. And after a while of like trying to, introduce my style into like doing commercials for brands out here, or like, doing editorial photography or lookbooks or whatever. It just wasn't as consistent, and it wasn't as appreciated.
Yeah.
And after a while, I really got disheartened to the point of like depression. Like, I felt like, like, what the fuck do I know? Like, I'm worthless apparently.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gives a shit. Like, you know what I mean?
In this market, at least.
It's like driving a Ferrari to a farm and then like trying to sell the Ferrari, and like nobody wants to fucking drive
I need a
right?
tractor, bro.
It's like people want to like pickup truck and like all that shit. So I started to think about my situation, and it's like, it's so important as an entrepreneur to really have a skill or a product that is need based. That is not simply just, oh, that's fucking cool, right? Like, because if it's not helping anybody, it's not helping anybody, right? And then so I had to put myself in a position. I was like, what can I do here that there's a need for? And I remember doing like some side gigs of like, taking real estate photos and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like getting more and more into video. And I was just looking at the market, and I just noticed that like the real estate marketing industry, like when it comes to photos or videos or whatever, is boring, man. Is like so boring.
So
like,
stale.
Yeah, it's boring, long. Like, I remember my mom is a realtor now or whatever, and she was an investor for a long time. And just like looking at some of the things that she's looking at, like these 10-minute, some even 20-minute long videos of houses. And I'm like, you're going to sit through that? Like, this shit is boring, man. You couldn't pay me to sit here and watch that, right? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, what can I do to make this more exciting? Like, so I decided to just do it my way and take all the things that I knew from fashion, commercial, and all that stuff, take my experience and pour it into real estate. And that's where Real Estate Movie Trailers was born. I started to make like these MTV Crib style, fun, exciting videos that like sell the message and get the heart racing, and that's where we are today.
How have you been growing it?
I mean, it's still in its phases of growing, like more and more, but really like literally like knocking on doors and like DMing people on Instagram and like emailing people. Anytime I see like a real estate sign, I would like hit that person up, like call them. Just real like leaving no stone unturned, and just really just knocking on doors, man, figuratively and literally. Yeah.
I like that, man. The hunger.
Yeah.
The early days before it really explodes and they're like beating down your door. Because all it takes is one. It just takes one yes.
Yeah.
So you're just getting through the nose at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But the quality of the work is exceptional, man.
Appreciate it, man. It's like,
exceptional.
It's not to like toot my own horn or anything like that, but like but like really like just the power of I mean, if y'all want to know the secret, and if there's any like person out there that's trying to create a brand or like a business, or like you guys are interested in doing something, it's like, it's not as formal as everybody thinks it is. Like, it's not as like ABC. It's like and you'll be surprised like how easy it is, right? It's to just do it, right? And then you'll be surprised that what you thought was whack, somebody thinks is like amazing, right? And then that's where it builds off, because like that's where like you just need a couple of people to start building the energy and building like that like belief, right? And then you just continue to put more stuff out there, and just keep knocking down doors, and just keep the flow of the work going, and then slowly you can start to solidify and evolve into like something greater. But everybody thinks it's like you got to be perfect and do everything off the bat, and it's not really like that.
You like it just always starts off ugly, to you.
Hell yeah.
But like your ugly is better than some people's best.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that.
Exactly.
People don't realize that.
Exactly.
Like you're like say like people want to start a YouTube video like or YouTube channel, like your garbage ass YouTube video is better than somebody with say 100K subscribers, because all they're doing is like cutting together somebody else's videos.
Yeah.
But they have 100K, but they don't even feel like they're creative.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know.
That reminds me of, I think, like a Les Brown quote where, you know, like it's talking about consistency and just like putting yourself out there. Like there are so many people that are just, they get the business or they get the followers or they get the whatever, right? Because they simply showed up. That's it. Like that's it. Because they knocked on the door. Not because they were great, just because they showed up. And the quote by Les Brown is like, even a broken clock is right twice a day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, if you just show up, like it becomes a numbers game. Like somebody's gonna give you a shot. You know what I mean?
It's like they just didn't give up.
Exactly. You just didn't give up.
Like somebody I saw, the person I saw, I was like blown away. I mean, this was like the most inspiring thing I've seen was that guy Jeffree Star. You seen that dude? He's like
the makeup artist guy?
The makeup artist?
Yeah.
But like
I remember when he was on MySpace.
That's exactly my point. Yeah. But he was always makeup. He always did the makeup. And now look at him. My man had a $15 million house walkthrough. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
He just stuck with it though.
Yep.
He just stuck with it.
Yeah. I'm working on that at the end of the year, my $15 million home.
So it is what it is. We're doing the pod. You heard it here. We're doing the podcast.
First, guys.
$15 million house.
Yeah. If you comment below right now, I'll invite you to the housewarming.
Comment below. All right. So you do so many things, right? Like you do photography, you do videography for the females and the men as well, and the men's. Yeah. But how do you juggle it all and not get lost in the sauce?
Bro, like, honestly, I wish I had a simple answer, and I wish it was like, I don't get lost in the sauce.
Do you feel like you do?
Hell yeah, man. It's real life, bro. It's real out here, bro. Like, it's just keeping your head above water, man, and, like, just staying on top of it and just not getting distracted. Like everybody goes through that, I believe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I've heard interviews with, like, Kobe, you know, and Jordan and these guys or whatever, or like Michael Phelps, like these top performers, they still have like, you know, bad days or they have days where they doubt themselves or whatever. But it's like they've gotten into the practice of shutting that shit off. Like when they hold that thought captive, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they've gotten into the habit of doing that. And then they also place the right peoples around them that basically will support them when they're feeling like that or whatever, right? So an example that I heard of one time was like a marathon runner. This is a true story. A marathon runner, she would have her family or have the people that she looked up to or whatever be at the marathon, but she would place them at different places along the marathon. And those places were the places where she knew she would get tired or get weak or whatever. So that by the time she reached that point, she would see somebody that like supported her and was like, nah, keep going. Oh, you got this. And then she would pick up her speed like at the places that she would feel weak. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure she knew it from like all the data.
Right, exactly. But that's kind of like a metaphor for like, yo, just like you're gonna get distracted. I mean, you're gonna get like weak, burnt out or whatever, but you have to prioritize your time and like your focus on what it is that you want, and like just like as easy as like shut the fuck up and get up and go. Like just stop that thought right now, stop that right now, and just focus. Go back. What's productive right now? Is this productive? Being like, you know, all like in your head and shit? No, is it? You know what I mean? So and it's a work in progress, bro. Like I do it. I gotta remind myself daily.
Yeah. Is it a challenge to shift creatively between like, you know, because you're photography, you're kind of working for yourself, but you're also kind of working for your client. And then REMT, you're basically working for your client. So is it a difference in the creative mindset? Because do you feel like you have as much creative control both ways?
Absolutely.
Really?
Well, because like the product that I put out is such an extension of like my vision, right? And I mean, it's something that I'm still processing because sometimes you get hiccups because there are people that hire you to put their vision together, right? But in a way, I work in a way where it's like I'm going to try to help you put your vision together, but you came to me for my style and for my expertise.
Yeah.
So that's the part that's going to be like a little tricky to navigate, and I'm still trying to find better ways to navigate it. But for example, like for instance, Apple, right?
Yeah.
Like when you go to their thing and you buy an iPod, or iPod. I just gave away my age. An iPhone. You go get an iPhone or whatever, and a lot of the things are proprietary, right? And it's like what Apple did was they trained and educated their demographic to understand why they didn't put certain features in there or whatever, right? For their style and their ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So it's like you came there knowing that this is our ecosystem and this is how we do things here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like this is not a customizable, all you can, you know what I'm saying?
You can't use Windows software to add songs to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the same way, like people do come to us because of our style. So there are certain aspects that we try to educate and you know, educate our clients on, like, hey, this is the reason why we do this and this is the reason why we do that. And that's how we get what we get. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to try to tailor it as best as we can to what your needs and looks are looking for. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, it did. Do you feel like REMT is a distraction from your original goal, which was to be a famous fashion photographer?
I don't think so, because I feel like in life in general, like as you get older, like some dreams change, and you have to also allow yourself the freedom to to let things evolve. You
can't be so rigid, huh?
Right. I mean, like you could argue that, yeah, this person has had that dream since they were 5 years old and they've held on to it forever and diligently. And if that's your thing, like then you know, more power to you. But then some people hold on to an expectation or a role that they have on themselves. Mm-hmm. That like, that dream died already. Like you know what I mean? Like maybe it evolved into a new dream, a better dream, right? Something else that is gonna like fulfill you in ways that you didn't even think. And I think that REMT definitely was that for me, because I was looking for something really. It wasn't necessarily to be a fashion or portrait photographer, but to, I guess, express those creative juices. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a creative outlet to do the things that I want to do, like that I think are dope. And you know what I'm saying?
Because at the core of the dream is to basically own your content, create the content the way you want to create.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter if you're shooting a fucking house or a woman, or a man or a football team. It all is all Vin's vision.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Okay.
And with REMT, I feel like I've created a company or a business that is able to supplement all of those needs, my creative needs, my business needs, you know what I mean? Because even as an artist, like, it sucks being broke.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could take bomb photos all the time or whatever, but if nobody is paying your bills and you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're not getting commissions.
There's a part of it where it's like personal responsibility as an adult. Like in this society, you know what I'm saying. You want to live off the land.
It's
or
capitalism,
whatever.
baby.
Yo, it is, right. So and there's a personal responsibility to like just hold your own weight, right? And like
and be a man.
Yeah, or else it's just a hobby. That's the difference between the professionals and the hobbyists, right? Like, so I think with REMT, I've kind of found that because my creative juices of like everything that I love about fashion, everything that I love about commercial and all that stuff, I'm just pouring it into this industry. You know, so yeah.
I feel like I asked you really hard questions and you just like answered them like really well. I feel like that was a hard question. Like, you know, did it get you off task?
Well,
that's a hardcore question.
Like, well, when you're not here, I just sit and stare in the mirror and like
think, what would Jordan ask me?
Interview myself and for hours on end.
All right, so like, all right, so it's 2020, and I follow your Instagram, and you've been like reinventing yourself. Seems like you've been reinventing yourself the past, I say 90 days.
Yes. Kind
of seems like you've gone through like a reinvention where you like, you know, you're doing a lot of yoga, you're doing a lot of online gratitude journaling, all this spiritual enlightenment, you know. He's trying to get the chakras open and the chi. What's all that about?
Bank accounts open, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get these pockets open.
What's that about, and how has it helped you?
Oh, man. Okay, so we're shifting over to the personal side now. About 3 months ago, so this is January, maybe 4 months ago, so October-ish, right? Mm-hmm. I was just going through like a time in my life where I just felt trapped. I was super depressed. I was like in this like victim mindset, and I was just feeling like real miserable, like in every aspect of my love life, my family life, my adulting life, my career life, like everything just felt like all I wanted to do that felt right to me was to run away, like literally to like just disappear and not even say a word, like
just ghost everybody,
like ghost and literally start a new life somewhere else. Like,
bro, I always wondered like how people could be like, I'm gonna go to the store and get some milk. And then it's just gone from
no, I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass, bro. Like, and that's just being real. That's just being real. Like, I'm telling you. And I have a kid, you know what I mean? Like, and
shout out to Caleb.
Yeah, shout out to Caleb, my number one man. But yeah, like, I have a kid, and like the whole family situation with me and his mom's, like, that was a whole thing. And like, you know, like just being a single dad and like trying to figure out life and like my career, I've dropped the ball in my career. So REMT has gone through phases, man. Like it's not just like a smooth ride the whole time, and just being inundated by like shit in my personal life, right? Yeah. Like, and so about 4 months ago, I was towards the bottom end of like rock bottom, like feeling like real trapped and everything. But at the end of it, there's this voice on the inside of myself that I think I was either born with or like has been conditioned in me or whatever. That's like, yo, don't give up, bro. Like nothing is impossible, right? Like you can change. There's a voice like, and you know, like I'm a big believer in like God and like, you know, spirituality and all that. And, I just felt like he spoke to me in that moment and was just like, do you trust me? Like, you can turn this around. Like this is nothing. Like, you just got to get your head out your ass. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a real, what do they call that? Dark night of the soul. When you have like that moment. And literally I told myself, I was like, it sounds crazy. Okay? It sounds crazy, but it's like, I started talking to myself, like reminding my own spirit, reminding my own soul, like, because in that dark moment, I was saying things like, I'm not worthy. I'm you know, nobody fucking loves me. You know, like I can't do shit. I'm broke. I'm this, I'm that, right? Like what's the point, right? I was saying all this shit, and then a part of me like was just like, yo, shut the fuck up, yo. Yo, do you know who you are? Yeah. Like, stop being a little bitch. Like, do you know who you are? And then it was like, you're the head and not the tail. You're above and not below. You're a fucking masterpiece. You're incredible. Like, you have dominion everywhere you go. You have the universe living inside of you. You could literally, you've been to rock bottom before and you came back. Like, who are you right now? Like, shut the fuck up right now. Yeah. Like, who, what? And then that's when I just took my bearings and I was just like, got real with myself, and I was like, yo, I'm being a little bitch right now. Like, yo, I need to, I have the power. It's already in me. Like, I have it, and now I just need to turn it on. I just need to stop this bullshit voice that's in my mind, or like this dwelling mentality. And I was just like, you know what? I'm unhappy, whatever, but I'm gonna make myself happy. I'm gonna do the things that I told myself I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fucking get up and do this. So I started slowly taking steps. And I think that one of the first things that works for me is if you can control your body first, everything else kind of starts to become easier and easier, because like you just need to start racking up little wins. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and at that time I just needed a win, right? And I wasn't really working out as much as I used to. I started like gaining a little bit of weight and stuff, and like you just feel kind of like gross about yourself. Not the way you feel, not the way you look.
You feel sluggish.
But yeah, you just feel like you ain't doing shit with life, right? You just need to start winning. So I was like, I wanted to get more. I've always told myself I wanted to be like a yoga instructor or whatever, but I never took the leap to do it. And so I was like, what's the first step? The first step is just having consistent practice. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna go to yoga every day. Like that was the only thing. I didn't put anything else on my bucket list. Like a lot of times we put a lot of things on us and it becomes like overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I was just like, one step at a time, bro. If I could just show up every day consistently, like I can do anything. So I just started showing up to Black Swan. Shout out to Black Swan Houston. I just started to show up to this yoga studio, and I was just like, no matter what, I have to do yoga, and or else I don't sleep, right? And so I just started showing every day, and then an epiphany happened where this, I think, was probably the biggest thing or the most profound thing that happened in my practice, right? Or in my life. The biggest reason, I think, why I was unhappy with my life and why my life was stagnant and like things didn't go places or whatever was because I was too focused on the self. I was too focused on me. Like, oh, woe is me. Like, why is this happening to me? And blah, 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 blah. And I totally lost focus on like giving to others, like really like, you know, giving of my smile, of my energy, giving of, you know, it doesn't have to be money, but it's like, yeah, giving, like when I used to live in New York, I guess maybe living here in Houston, there's not a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah.
But in New York, you walk everywhere. Like I walked everywhere, and sometimes I would see homeless people, and sometimes I'll just dab them up. Like not even, like sometimes I don't have money, but I would stop for like 2 minutes. Like what's 2 minutes out of your day, right? Like I'll stop for 2 minutes, ask them their name, like what they're doing, like, you know, like, and just share some like dignity and like love, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think that like that was the big switch that turned on for me, that was like turned off for a long time. And, you know, like I'm not trying to like brag or like be like, you know, like, oh, look at me, but it was just always in me, and it always felt good to like share that love and that joy and like compassion with people. And I, for a long time, especially in those dark moments, I was just focused on myself. Like I wasn't giving to other people, you know what I mean? And it's understandable, but it's counterintuitive to think that way. It's like understandable to be like, I gotta focus on myself. I ain't got time for nobody right now. I gotta focus. I haven't even made it yet. But the secret is the more you give of yourself to people, to the universe, to life, with everything that you do, right? And if you do it with love and compassion and joy and connection, like things just start rushing at you, man. Like blessings start coming, like doors start opening, like it's fucking crazy, bro. But like that was the most profound thing. And so when I would go to do yoga, I still do it to this day. I actively introduce myself to almost everybody in the class. Like I shake their hands, I ask them their name, I smile, I always remember to bring high energy or good energy or whatever, and I connect with people. And slowly but surely, like it became like this like snowball effect of like just good shit happening, bro. Like, and I felt great, you know what I mean? And I felt that it's one of those things where it's like, if I died right now, would I be content with how I lived my day today? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I died right now, maybe I might not have made the riches that I wanted to make or accomplished the things that I accomplished, but did I live today with intention and love and purpose and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and whose life did I affect today? Yeah. You know what I mean?
And who did I improve?
Exactly. So like, so long as you live in that state of like constant love and joy and progress, like even if it's 1% of progress, like, yo, that's gratitude, bro. And then it went down to the gratitude thing that you mentioned. Like, I started to, that was another thing in my practice. I'm sorry this is going long.
No, man, this is exactly what I asked you.
But another profound thing that definitely like, and it's crazy. And the reason why I say it's crazy because it's like some lessons you learned before. Like I knew all this shit, right? Like I've learned this stuff before, but it's a difference where like you get distracted and you forget. Yeah. Right? And that's why like it's a constant practice. It's not like every day you have to practice kindness. Every day you have to practice joy. Every day you have to practice good, like intentionally doing good, right? Like
focusing on the positive.
Right. Like because every day you're doing, right? It's not like, oh, I did a good thing today, I'm good for the rest of my life type thing, right? Like, oh, I ate yesterday, so like, oh, I should be good. No, you have to feed yourself every day. That's why they call it a practice, right? That's why you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so another thing that I did was just having a gratitude journal, and it helps to write it out, but some days I would forget, but every day I would say it verbally, right? I would thank God. I would just, I would thank God for like, thank you for his love, grace, his mercy, whatever. And just start reminding myself of thank you for this day. Thank you for breath. Thank you for, the wins that I've had, and I would try to get as specific as possible. Right? You don't want to just say broad things. You want to remind yourself of even little things like, thank you for coffee today.
Thank you for my eyesight.
Yeah, thank you for eyesight. Thank you for that I had toothpaste today and I didn't have to go to the store. Like, shit like that, right?
Like you can afford ice cream. But not ice cream, but...
brush my teeth with some ice cream.
Yeah, I know, right?
But you know what I learned out of this, though? It's not the actual thing that you're grateful for that has the power. Right? The power is not necessarily in the gratitude, right? Because yes, you have to feel the gratitude. That's great. And that's powerful. But the other thing that people overlook is that it's not about the thing. It's about the action of intentionally looking for shit to be grateful for. Because it's like I honestly, if I sat right here and I asked you, like, what are you grateful for? You'll probably at most maybe list 10 things off the top of your head, maybe less. You just be like, oh, thank you for my health, thank you for my family, thank you for this, thank you for that. Then you're gonna be like, what else am I thankful for, right? Because it's not our normal. It's not like innately natural for us to like just start. Our thing is we look for problems.
It's like this. It's like in the society that we're in. This is my opinion, of course, but the society that we're in, we're always looking for, oh, what do they have? Or what do they have? So it's like we're always looking for what we don't have,
right?
Instead of looking at what we do have,
right?
Whereas like someone says, "Oh man, I just got this job and it only pays me $7 an hour," but like $7 an hour, some people don't make that in a month. Some places in the world, you're making that in an hour. And I'm not saying in this economy that's you're not doing well.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like $7
But it's switching the perspective.
It's switching the perspective and being, at least I have a job.
Yeah.
At least I have a roof over my head.
That's where I am now.
Exactly. That's where I am, but that's not where I'm going to be forever.
Right.
That type of stuff.
Right.
And living in that.
For sure, man. And the most profound thing out of that is just that action of looking for things to be grateful for. Because our brains biologically are, because it's trying to protect us, so it's like looking for problems, right? To either stay away from, fight or flight, right? Like, oh, like that's painful, stay away from it, or like, oh, that sucks, or this thing sucks, or like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's always looking for negative things, and if you look for negative things, you'll always find them.
Facts.
At the same time, though, it takes a little bit more challenge to look for things to be grateful for, but if you start really looking, you start to see it, and if you say it out loud, I swear to you, like in 5 minutes, you'll feel so much better about yourself. You'll feel like this power and this energy, like building. Like literally, I'll sit there, and after I thank them for so just say thank you. Even if you don't believe in God or whatever, you just say thank you, right? Like thank you for the big things, like health and my job and whatever, blah blah blah. And then you start looking for random things. It's like, oh, well, thank you for electricity in my house. Oh, thank you for thank you for my meal today. Thank you for this parking spot. Thank you for, this awesome song that's playing on the radio right now. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you. And you just start going off and off. And your brain is actually like looking for shit to be grateful for now.
Yeah, it is.
So now your eyes are like shifted totally differently, like because you're looking like I don't want to sound too dramatic, but like you're looking at the world through God's eyes, right? Like you're looking at it through like, man, look at all this wonder that's going on. Look at all this shit that I overlooked.
Yeah.
All this mundane thing that I was so busy thinking about myself and thinking about my problems that I didn't notice all this other shit that's happening, right? That it's amazing. And then you get into that mode of thinking, and it unravels, bro. Like, you start noticing blessings in your life. You start noticing like doors opening in your life that you didn't notice before, right? Because sometimes they're just whispers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that, and that's the part that like was like floodgates open for me, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like totally stealing that. Like I thought I was doing good on the gratitude. Like I would. No, I seriously. I was listening. Well, when I interviewed Ezra, who's on episode 2, he said to say thank you 100 times a day, and I've been doing it since then.
Right.
And it's cool. That's great. I say a thank you, and then I list like one thing that I'm thankful for, and I say that in my head over and over and over. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and that's great. But to like apply that tactic with what you just said, to actively look for every single blessing in my life, it would take me like, it would take like you say, it'd take you 1,000 lifetimes to think of every single problem that you've ever gotten through, and you got through unscathed.
Yeah. And I mean, like, when you do it, you could do it throughout your day. There's not like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously start with it, but it's like, I'll say thank you in the morning, like on a couple of things, because it starts training your mind. It primes your mind. That's the word, priming. You're priming your mind to receive good shit.
You're programming yourself.
Yes, you're programming yourself.
You're programming
exactly.
yourself.
And then it's like, it's not this like woo-woo kind of like spirituals, like it's real, like, you know what I mean? And throughout the day, you'll just find yourself like noticing things, right? Like and by actively doing it, rather, I think, and if you're a person that is not used to doing it, or like maybe just starting off, saying thank you and like those things, or maybe listing 3 things you're thankful for, or something like that, is like a great way to start.
Yeah.
But really, to work that muscle is when you actively start looking. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Wow, I love that.
That was a mouthful, man.
Let me see. What's on the slate for 2020?
As far as like personal and
everything. It's like the first week of the new year. So what do we have planned for the next 52 weeks?
Man, I've been around 2 types of people for sure. Like, they're the people that like really plan everything out. They have a 5-year plan, all that shit, right? And I get it, right? And then it's also like the practices and the planning, right? But then I also have people that like, oh, I don't plan shit. I just kind of do. I just like, spontaneous. Like, yeah, like if it happens, it happens. I take it one day at a time type thing, right? And I think like the balance is like trying to plan enough in advance that you have something to expect or to work towards, right? And then you have your daily tasks like that you have to do, right? So right now I've been going through like these. I believe that your life can be totally different. And I'm a product of this. Your life can be totally different in 90 days, which is 3 months. In 3 months, every quarter, right? Your life can be you could be a totally different person. 3 months ago, I told you my story already. I was in a deep, dark place.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm on top of the fucking world, bro. Like, and that is through consistent practice for 90 days of just intentional gratitude and intentional practice and like prioritizing myself, right? So now that you're asking me, I'm in phase 2. So this is my second quarter of 3 months. So January, February, March, right? And my plans, looking to hit some financial goals, looking to hit some, and I'm trying my best to have these like measurable goals, right? Because I'm used to like being big picture, like, oh, I just want to be rich. Oh, I just want to be like, what is that? Like, no, I want to hit X amount of money in this amount of time, right? Or because then I can measure it, right? Yeah. So, I'm looking to do more podcasts. So, boom, this is manifesting already. I'm looking to do more workshops and teaching, because that was a big thing towards the end of last year that people were hitting me up about.
Teaching for your videography?
Yeah, like video, photography, and mindset and all that stuff, like what to look for and all that stuff.
You teach that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So, my courses, not to get into that too much, but like, for instance, my courses, anybody can teach you how to use a fucking camera, right? Like, but what I'm teaching is vision, right? Like what makes my style, and how do you find yours, right? And what to look for, what rules to break, what rules not to break, X amount, like stuff like that, like to see things differently, because when you're able to see things differently, you're going to capture things differently, right? So that's kind of what I teach a little bit. Just click the link below and you no.
Go to my ClickFunnels.
Use code Jordan Baylor
for 20% off.
Yes, the Offstage. Is it on stage or off stage?
Offstage.
Offstage, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, Offstage, yeah. But yeah, I mean, 2020, man, like personal goals. I'm trying to do a press to handstand. I don't even know how to do a fucking handstand right now. But
I've never been able to do a handstand.
Yeah. So
I'm like content going the rest of my life not knowing how to do it.
Really? I mean, like inversions are like a big like yogi thing.
Yeah,
like
inversions, handstands, and what is it? The cartwheels.
Oh, cartwheels, like flips and shit like that.
Yeah, cartwheels.
Just
cartwell. I never knew how to do cartwheel as a kid.
Yeah.
I almost broke my wrist trying to learn. So I was like, nope, God didn't want me to do that.
Exactly. It's like, well, one death-defying hobby at a time. Mm-hmm. But a press to handstand. So a press, if you don't, so it's basically like pushing myself off the ground slowly into a handstand rather than flipping up on it, right? That's like a personal goal of mine. And then let's see what else I got here.
He's reading off his board.
Yeah, so I wrote it down. I mean, building teams for REMT and really getting it out there to the different cities that we're in, getting my yoga teacher training certification. So that's kind of like you're officially allowed to teach and stuff now, as an instructor. So that's been on my bucket list, right? And I'll be starting that in spring.
The certification?
Yeah, like in March, I believe. And it's like a 3-month course. So there goes another 3 months, right? But yeah, that's 2020 for me, man. Just trying to up new levels, man. And it's really like mindset that's different, right? Like prioritizing and cutting out the bullshit, really, because I believe that we can all achieve what we want to achieve. It's just that we just get immensely distracted by bullshit, by things that we put on ourselves, or you know what I'm saying?
Boulders we pick up sometimes. Sometimes it's put in our lap.
Yeah, or like expectations that we put on ourselves. Like for instance, like a simple stupid expectation would be like, if you go to dinner, right, and you always get dessert afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? So it becomes a tradition, or it becomes a thing where you habitually, now you're going to go eat dinner and then you're going to get dessert afterwards. Well, what if you break that habit and say, I don't have to get dessert afterwards. I could do other shit. I could save that money and go do something else. I could go run in the park. I could go work out. I could go, watch a movie or some shit.
Picking up all those extra calories.
Yeah, right? Like, and it's not even about like calories or whatever, right? Yeah. It's just about like just breaking that like cycle of like having to do things the way that you've done them.
Or always going to the same restaurant,
Yeah.
Sometimes people just get so stuck in their habits.
Yeah.
That, it's a new year, try something new.
Yeah, for sure.
Try a new restaurant. Try the restaurant that you've been looking at that you always see a line out the door.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, what are they serving there? Like, go try it. Like for real, because people, get stuck.
What's a new food that you've tried recently?
Mod Pizza. I've seen that restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
We literally went there today.
What did you think?
I thought it was pretty cool. I got a little overwhelmed when I walked through the door, so I just ordered the first thing I saw. And because there was people behind me, and I was like, they're gonna rush me, and I should just take my time. I love
Mod Pizza, man. Yeah. Like, shout out to Mod Pizza. This is not a paid sponsorship, but
yes, it is. Get 10% off.
Mod Pizza, if you want to send us a check, or free pizza for the rest of our lives, whatever. It's fine. But yeah, man, like that place is awesome, dude, and it's like affordable, good food that and I love I like how they're involved in like the community, and they like feed the homeless and stuff. That's awesome.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, so like they give back food and stuff like that, like to help, and then they're also like they support the troops and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All right. So to end the interview, to end the interview, I like to do a short word association game where I ask you a word, and you kind of give me the first thoughts that pop into your head. It doesn't have to be. You have to limit yourself to one word.
That might be dangerous.
Yeah,
my mind is
whatever.
fucking crazy, bro.
It does not matter. It does not matter. Okay, so first word is art.
All right.
Now, it doesn't have to be one word because people always get hung up on. Trying to say one word.
Okay. Like, I could tell you what it is to me, or what's the first thing that comes to mind?
What do you think?
Art to me is perspective. It's life. It's an active thing. Like, art is just a way of seeing things.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Creation.
God.
Freedom.
The ability to authentically express yourself in any form, whether it be financially, whether it be vocally, whether it be with your body, or with your art, or with whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever. Like, that to me is freedom, to fully and authentically express yourself. So.
Mindset.
Mindset is the first thing that comes to mind. Is like, mindset is everything. It could, with the right mindset, you can move mountains. With the wrong mindset, you can get buried by one. Right.
How can the people find you?
You can Google. No, it's fine. One day. IMDb me in one of my
Google
movies.
me, baby.
One of my movies, student films. You can find me on Instagram at Vinh Luong Studios. That's VINHLUONG Studios. Or you can follow our real estate stuff is Real Estate Movie Trailers. Yeah.
And all his businesses will be in the show notes, of course.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time, Vin. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you. I'm very honored to be on the show. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you for listening to Offstage with Jordan Baylor. Now go forth and create.